Greetings my Guzzlers, we're going to make some bread. I ain't made bread for quite a while, and this isn't a sourdough bread. I've made one of them fairly recently. This is a multi-grain loaf, and again I've got the recipe from Bakery Bits, where I get all my flours, and it's a Dan Lepard bread again. He calls it a 3-2-1 multi-grain sandwich bread or sandwich loaf. So it's actually going to be made in a loaf tin because we want to be able to make sandwiches from it. Okay, so what you can see here is I've got about 40 to 50 grams of sesame seeds, and we're going to be adding some of them into the bread, and we want them toasted. So I've got my oven on about 180 and just spread them on a bit of baking paper, and we're going to roast them or toast them for about 10 to 15 minutes until they've gone a nice golden brown, and then we're going to take them out of the oven. While they're doing that, we're getting on making the main dough. We want to get our yeast activated, and for that I've got some instant dried yeast. I've got 7 grams of that, and that's going to go in there. And then, where is it? Water. Where is it? It's a bloody job in front of me. 350 grams of warm water. In that goes. And I've lost yoghurt. I've got 100 grams of plain yoghurt. Bloody slopping everywhere, splashing. So just going to get that in there, and then we're just going to sort of whisk that all together, as it were, to get that going. I'm just going to give him some air and bonnet because I managed to slop it everywhere. So we're mixing all that in, and now that's incorporated, I've got some honey here. I've got 50 grams of honey. So that's going to add a little bit of sugar. It's going to add a lot of sugar, right, to help get that yeast going. And again, we want to mix that all in. And then we're just going to put this to one side while we mix our main flours together. Now, it's multi-grain, so I've already told you we're going to have some toasted sesame seeds in it, but it's going to be strong plain white bread flour, 300 grams of that. I've got 200 grams of strong wholemeal, preferably stone ground, and then 100 grams of dark rye. They're going to be our 3 grains, if you like, and you're going to want 12 grams of nice fine sea salt. Well, I've got nice fine Himalayan pink salt. So that's my yeast done. Let's put it to one side. Here's my bigger bowl. In go my flours. 1, 2, 3, and we're now just going to give them a rough mix together, and we're just going to give our yeast a few minutes to get ready. Right, so our sesame seeds are nice and golden, as it were. So what I'm going to do now is we're now just going to mix in that yeast mixture, and then we're just going to work that together to a nice dough. So when that's all nicely combined, we're going to give it a bit of a knead, and once it's had a decentish knead, we're going to add in our salt and some of them sesames. They're all mixed in. I'm just going to spread that out. What we're going to do is just going to sprinkle over that the sugar, which is now decided it's not coming out of here. The sugar, sorry, the salt. Try and get that in there, and then I'm going to add about half of those sesame seeds, and we're now just going to knead it all again until that salt and those sesame seeds are all nicely mixed through. Now at that point we're then going to just knead it into a nice smooth ball, cover it, and then put it somewhere warm where we're going to let it rise. Now, because of the rye and the wholemeal flours, you have to get careful you don't over rise it, if you like. So we're not looking for it to double in size, but we are looking for sort of about 2/3 of the original size. It's still quite sticky at the minute. Still quite sticky at the moment. So just going to knead it, and also I've still got pockets of sesame seeds there now. So therefore I'm guessing I've probably got some salt. So we're going to carry on kneading that, and then like I say, we're just going to put it by, covered over to rest. Towards the end of that time, we're going to want to line our baking tin. It's about a kilo baking tin. You want to line that with baking paper, or parchment paper, or whatever you want to call it. And we won't be putting it in the oven at that point, because we're then going to let it do another little rising. Okay, the dough's had almost 2 hours. It was a bit slow to get going, but now it's just about there. So I've just lightly floured the surface, and all we want to do is knock it back slightly and roughly shape it so it will fit into our tin. Okay, which I said to you we've already lined, but before we put it into the tin, remember we want to cover it with some more of these sesame seeds. Now I'm going to do it over a baking tray, otherwise I'm going to get sesame seeds everywhere. Okay. What we want is to brush over the loaf with water, the top and the sides, so that we can help these sesame seeds stick on. So we're going to add a little bit of pressure. Just to get them to sit on there, and then it's a matter of transferring it and really getting them everywhere. Into our lined tin. And I'm just going to add a few seeds to the little patches that have stuck to me. Now we're going to cover that over and then leave that to sit and rise, hopefully sort of by half. You'll want the oven preheated before it finishes that. Whack that up to 200, okay, and we're going to be wanting to put some steam in it. So we're going to cover this over, and like I say, it could be about an hour to get that to the right. So that's had about an hour, and it has sort of pretty much risen by half. Okay, so I've got my timer set to 30. I've got my oven on just 200 or just over, and I've just added a bit of boiling water, but we're going to put in some more in a little tray at the bottom. Before we do that, I'm just going to score top of the loaf, and then that's going into the middle, and we're then, like I say, going to bake that for 30 minutes. At that point, we're going to turn the steam down, turn the temperature down to about 180, and then sort of vent off the steam if there's any still in there, and then just let it cook for about another 20 minutes till it's nice and golden on top. So in that goes. In goes some more boiling water, and there we go. That's the loaf. Didn't expand much, didn't open up much more. But what we're going to do now is transfer that to wire rack and let it cool. Now, this bread really doesn't want to be sliced till it's thoroughly cooled down, and so we won't be sampling it, but certainly not now. We're going to let it cool nicely first. So I'm going to transfer it to wire rack, and there you go. There is your 3-2-1 multigrain sandwich loaf. For the sake of you lot, I did cut it early. Okay, you can see here, nice texture, nice crumb, nice even crumb. It's a little bit soggy, but that's because it's still warm. I mean, I'm touching that, it's warm. I've got to watch it because I think a bit of paper got folded up in there. But let's have a little take. Well, actually, let's try it out in butter first. Crust is nice and chewy. It's sort of got that nutty flavour from the whole grains and sesame and that. Obviously the idea of this, made it this shape in a tin. Want to slice this so we can make sandwiches from it. Might be doing that for tomorrow. But I like the ends with crust. So Dan, thanks very much. Nice wholesome 3-in-1 multigrain loaf.